firing as I went into the room. I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
My parents.
Oh, hello.
I'm not. I'm not saying boo.
It's your fault. You told me to go in there. It's all your fault. You said go. I went.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit. I take full responsibility. I had fun, and thanks for the compliment. I'm a 50-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord. Hi, Diane.
I'm not
Hi.
a member. I couldn't chat.
Hello. Oh, your break's over? Okay. Hi, Shifty. Mr. Wheel. Hi, boss man. It is so good to see you guys. Hi, butterfly kisses. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Sorry guys, I was having is my sound okay or am I too loud?
No, I don't even know anymore. Hold on, I'm looking up something.
Can you answer about my sound though? Because I don't want to blow people's mouths. Okay. I just don't want to blow eardrums out. Thank you guys for being here. I was very naughty just before stream and I went and trolled somebody and it did not go over well for them.
And the funniest part was we were both going, wait for it. Oh, she just saw your message.
I simply got a gifted membership. So I went in and thanked everyone, whoever it was that gifted my membership. It happened to be in Brittany J. It happened to be in Brittany J's. She did not appreciate it. Now, I would like to say that Reality Wins gave me a lovely, warm welcome. Thank you, Reality Wins. I think that was really sweet, even though you got in trouble for it. But what can I say? I was just, someone needs to remind Brittany that it's a public platform. That's not your secret clubhouse.
No, Reality Wins now hates you.
Thank you for someone for being a gifted membership is not trolling. I thought I was being kind, but I don't think she took it like that.
I don't think so at all.
But I have the screenshots to prove that they were hilarious. And I was hilarious. And it was just a simple thank you. God, Brittany, you're so mean.
Why are you in here? Why do you do this? Like, why?
Why do you hate watch everything? I don't. Actually, I never watch you.
The irony is that fool over there got the membership and I didn't.
I never watch Brittany. I don't watch her because I don't hate watch. But I got a membership, so I was like, hey, thanks for the membership. She didn't appreciate the humor. I'm sorry. So now I'm a block bitch over there too. It is what it is.
I think you were timed out. I don't think you're
no, I'm pretty sure she probably blocked my ass.
I thought the last I looked, it just said you had to think about yourself for a minute.
I should be timed out, but you know what? It's fine. Brittany.
Hold on, I just found I think the updated spreadsheet for you.
Awesome. So tonight, you can tell I was in a really pissy mood earlier. Yeah, Shifty, what are you yelling at me for? All capital letters. Oh my gosh. I went to Lost Souls a while back for 3 minutes and Avery gifted me a free membership. I know. Wheel. I should be sitting in the corner. I wish I felt bad, but I just don't. I know. I'm focusing. I'm sorry. I'm focusing. We're working on Menendez. So tonight we have lots of questions that we're going to be asking ourselves and you guys. Um,
Already took the quiz. It's someone else's turn.
I mean, we can just talk about that. We did it before, but there's another quiz that I have for you. And this is really related to what we're going to be talking about this evening, and that is whether you think the Menendez brothers should be released. Now, yesterday, as you may have heard, there was a press conference that the family held, that the Menendez, Andersons, whoever else was in that family held, and they would like the DA. Sorry, what?
Sorry. No, I was trying to remember. What's their last name? Van. Oh gosh.
It's not anyway. So
All right.
they what?
All right. I was trying to
Okay,
remember.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was just trying to remember their names. I felt bad all of a sudden. Go ahead.
Are you sure? I'll interrupt you.
Yeah.
Both sides of the family. Yeah. So they all came together with the exception of one, and they marched over to the DA's office and they're requesting the boys, have either have a resentencing, all the things, because they want them released. And one of the cousins said they could live with them. I mean, I'm sure there's many family members who would open their doors to them. But regarding that, we're going to ask LFT, and I'm going to give my answers as well. And we did this earlier. We actually did this last year too. But I'm going to ask the questions again, and then I have another quiz that I want to ask. And feel free to answer in the chat, because I really want to hear what you guys think about this too. Because I think there's people out. What?
I was going to say, before you start asking, when you're done, may I ask a question to the chat before we start?
I don't know where I was going, so go ahead.
I was just going to ask how many, if anyone, between Wheel and Shift and Mao, and anyone else listening on the replay, did anyone actually watch or hear the press conference yesterday?
Well, that's what I was going to get into. Let me talk about that first. So they all came together. They marched over to the DA's office and they're requesting release of the boys. Basically, that's the button down version, if you will. But there is one of the family members, the uncle, who is Kitty's brother, who does not want the boys released. And his interview from yesterday is really not his, it's his victim advocate who spoke for him, said that he doesn't believe that the boys were abused. He doesn't believe it. It's malarkey. Which he's a 90-year-old man. And as I said to LFT, I'm not here to change his mind. He's got his beliefs, and if you've ever dealt with someone like that, you're not going to change their mind. The good news is there's many members of the family and other siblings of Kitty's that do want the boys released, and I think that's important information. And they do believe, including sides of the actual Menendez family, believe that Jose and Kitty, really important, you guys, that they were complicit in the abuse of the boys. Hey, Lavina! Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you very much. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Your membership goes to, just so you know, nothing to do with Decipher, but everything to do with Rachel Morin's children for Christmas. So any money earned for the memberships or super chats and things like that goes towards Rachel's kids for Christmas. So we will be doing that again this year. And we have Mr. Wheelby to thank for that, because he was instrumental in coming up with that idea last year. It was a huge success for us and the kids. So we're going to do it again this year. So welcome. Thank you. You may have been a member. We changed our membership though. So It's flat, one across the board there. So what do you have to add, Miss LFT, before I start questioning you, like the Spanish Inquisition here?
No hablo. No, that was it. I was just asking if people had actually seen it, because even you and I had different. Well, the heart of the matter yesterday we both agreed on, but the way it in the press conference,
Mm-hmm.
our initial takeaways were
Mm-hmm.
we didn't, we don't have the same reactions to everything. But we agree on like certain, like certain hearts of the matter. But like for me yesterday, I was more kind of impressed with certain stuff, even though it wasn't any kind of breaking real news. And like I told Tia before we did, and I really will do a follow-up community post that recaps what was said yesterday, some of the key points, as well as the DA's response and whatnot. But I thought it was a very unique press conference, but I was before it began at 1 p.m. on the West Coast, the whole time I was under the impression that the DA was was a part of this kind of deal, because they never specified, that it was just like the family or the Menendez family and attorneys are hosting this. So I thought it was going to be more revealing, kind of like you did, before we realized that the DA is not a part of this press conference and does not plan to comment, quote unquote, on the press conference itself. So I was like, oh, well, what the heck? Because of the October 3rd press conference where Gascon, and by the way, I just think that's amazing. Like I just go Beauty and the Beast and it just starts singing it. Like I sing every song in my head and I'm like, Gascon. I thought that was kind of unique, but I have to admit, well executed, in my opinion, a well executed PR move on the defense's side or the family side. And actually, I thought some things were kind of powerful about it, especially 35 years later, looking back. And I think Tia and I talked about this, and I have to agree with Mark Garagos. The fact that you can get 24 people on both sides of the family to come together in agreement on something. Like I agree with him. I don't think that would happen in my family today. Like if you did something and then it was like you have to get all your family on board kind of deal. Like mine would, I don't ever think I could get a solid 24 to, from X side of the family and Y side to come together and to be that adamant and that passionate and that invested in something was pretty impressive. That was just me though. And especially when Joan got up there to speak, when they helped her like stand up, I was just like, I'm done. Like I told you, I was like, kind of made my eyes water, just the impact of it and the realization of how this has impacted and affected them as extended family members. I just, like, we know it, but until you see certain things like that, sometimes it helps you to like go, damn, I got to keep that in mind. But that's how I felt. And I don't thought about politics. And by the way, I didn't toot or anything. That was the Carmex out of the little, trying to push it out of the tube.
I don't disagree with anything that you said. I agree with everything that you say. My disappointment came when we're like, hey, you guys, big things happening with the Menendez case. Well, when you say that to me, I get excited because I am about getting those boys out of prison. That is my goal. I feel very strongly about that. And I will tell you that after deep diving this case, last year, I feel as strongly about it as I do now. And now that Andy Cano's letter and Roy Russello potentially, and I say potentially because it's not 100% that they'll be that will even be looked at. They may just do a resentencing. I think 35 years is a long time. I think that when I placed it, well, okay, let me go back to the press conference. I was disappointed in the fact that I was like, wah, wah. So it's just family members crossing the street going over. I think that's great, but I don't think it required Mark Garagos and every news station. I don't. I think it could have been a press release. I don't think it needed to be what it is. That's fine. It's my opinion. My opinion means nothing. These people don't even know me. It doesn't matter. The reason I say that is because, like I said, I feel so strongly about them getting out. I get excited and I'm like, yes, let's get the wheels turning. Let's get things happening. And I was kind of like, oh, this is what we're announcing. Okay. It's kind of like expecting Coke and getting milk. That was my opinion of it. It's like, yeah, you quenched my thirst. Yeah, it was great, but meh. Now the speakers, if we're talking about the particular speakers, I thought were amazing and moving, and I loved what they had to say, and I loved that the families came together on both sides to speak their truth and let their voices be heard for the world. That kind of thing I really support, and I loved it. Like I said, I had hoped the news would be like, hey, we're letting them out. But I got a little ahead of myself.
But that was the whole thing too, that goes back to literally, it was as I was writing up the community post yesterday, just as a heads up, like, it's the family members, like, and it even mentioned specifically, like, I think in two of the articles, like, as far as the quote unquote celebrity activists and supporters were going, it was like, maybe like Rosie O'Donnell was going to speak, and maybe even like Kim Kardashian or something. I don't even know if they were there. My guess is yes, they were.
No, they weren't.
I have no idea.
If they were there, they would have been photographed. You know that.
But that was what I was saying about like the articles. And then I literally caught, it was the Daily Mail one, that it was the DA's office, the spokesperson was like, this is not our press conference. This is one, like, essentially this is one done and hosted by the Menendez family and the attorneys.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, all right, still kind of interested. But before I saw that, I was thinking it was going to be like like you did, like some kind of breaking information. But
I was super excited.
Yeah, and I get what you're, because I was more like, oh damn, like he just did it on, the last one was what, October 3rd, and I was like, wow, that's coming in quick.
Right.
But
that was the DA.
That was the DA. So that's where
this was Garagos. So I was like, oh, Garagos has news for me. Give it to me, baby. And then I was like, oh,
but
it's not what I wanted.
But the difference, like, and that's where, like, I'm with you on, like, it wasn't necessarily a nothing burger, because they did. We hadn't heard anything about the coalition and the website, which we'll put in the description and in the chat in a moment. But, like, of course, come out and announce that. Like, there were certain things that they did announce, but my takeaway is, after 35 years, the family is not united in this kind of way. I mean, they've done public appearances, don't get me wrong, interviews, Dateline, Night, whatever you want to attribute it to, but I don't think it was a poor, for lack of a better word, PR move on their front, because
their names are in the newspaper, and that's
their names are in the news. Gascon is very much put this in the news. It's come November, we're hitting an election, and it is. I hate it. Like I told Tia this last night. Like, it's the dangest thing that politics, in some way, shape, or form, that those powers, the quote unquote political powers or situations going on in an area at a certain time, can influence.
Always. It always has, and it always will.
And it's just ironic that, again, like, it's like after, the first trial, then you had OJ, and then we had the second trial for the Menendez, and it was, all that crap. Like, we can't have another stain on our end. Is there anyone? I was impressed with it. Like,
hang on one second. Hang on one second. Is there anyone in here who doesn't believe that Lyle and Eric Menendez should not be released? Is there anyone in here? Put a 1 in chat if you think they should not be released. Your opinion is your opinion, and I respect your opinion, because I've other creators out there. I heard Granny's watching, actually, and I'm calling her out. Not a bad way. Don't get all excited. This isn't a drama live. But she actually was talking about this, and she was like, listen, murder's murder.
Mm-hmm.
And, you killed your parents. Yeah. But there's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of gray area. I'm a gray girl. I wear grout fits. Like, I'm so gray, I wear grout fits, like gray outfits. So I'm curious, does anyone think that they shouldn't be released because of what they did? Like I said, I respect other people's opinions entirely. Have you seen any of the public polls regarding this question? Not yet. No, I haven't. But I have some more questions for you guys. I'm just curious in here, just us folks talking, is there anyone who disagrees? And let me state this. Murder is very wrong, and murdering of your parents is horrific, and the way they did it was awful. I mean, if you watched our intro, you saw that is actually the crime scene. We have the crime scene, we have the autopsy photos. What happened was disgraceful. Also, what happened to those boys in that house was disgraceful. Do I think that one can cause the other? It can. Do I think it's right? No, I definitely don't. Here's the other thing that I ask you guys is, do you think they've been rehabilitated? Because in 35 years, I sure as shit know they have. And that's where my argument starts to fall in. Yeah, what they did was wrong. But you know what else is wrong? Letting out mafia killers. Letting out people.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what you and I talked
Thanks.
about.
I know. Letting out Michael Francis. Letting out Sammy the Bull Gravano. Sammy the Bull Gravano is a serial killer. Okay? He was the underboss of John Gotti in the Gambino crime family. He's out of jail, living in Arizona, living his best life, doing lives every Monday. Go check him out. He's hilarious. He'll tell you all about the stories of the mob. But he's out of jail. He's killed people. He's admitted to killing people. He's out of jail. He's sitting pretty. He's writing books and doing TV shows and doing all the things. And yet the boys are still in. Do you think that they've been rehabilitated? What I've heard and what I've researched is they have given to other prisoners. They've gotten their college degrees. They have
They've
they've done
for
programs. Yes, thank you. They've done programs for
other inmates.
Not only other inmates, but other prisons. Like, it's gone, from one prison to another prison because of what they've started.
Mm-hmm.
They've really broken, precedents with some things and really done exceptional work. Oh, you make a YouTube bank, like you think people like, our little group makes money, go into Sammy the Bull Gravanos.
Yeah, and well, I don't know. I can tell you the last I looked, I think we've got $2.18. So
yeah, he makes, they call it giving the envelope. He makes hundreds in one envelope.
I know there's some people I've heard recently, and everyone is entitled, of course, to their opinion on it. And I do understand when some people are like, well, murmur is what it is. Unaliving is unaliving in that kind of fashion. And you're not wrong. And since the brothers were taken into custody and charged with it, they've never once, since that point, I mean, obviously they denied it beforehand, but since really getting into the nitty gritty of being prosecuted for this, they have admitted it, they have stood by their reason, like that there's no question of their guilt. But I'll be damned if someone like Susan Smith, and like I was telling to you this earlier, Susan Smith, the Manson co-conspirators, people like that, if those people have a right to parole, you got to explain, and who actively committed murmurs of their own and participated for whatever reason and for whatever psychological mentality issue that was going on at the moment. They did this, but they have the right to parole. If those individuals do, I don't understand why these brothers don't have the right to that either. You got it. Someone's really got to explain that to me.
Well,
Not in
and
like an argumentative debate, but like literally, someone would have
like I
to
said
do it.
to you though, if this happened in Texas, this would be capital murder. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, this was almost a DP case. They took it off the table towards the end.
I know. What I wanted
Yeah.
to show you is, what do you see in these gentlemen? I'm going to say gentlemen. I mean, I have to use the term slightly loosely here, but what do you see there?
Light and eyes, Eric and Lyle, just
like they're totally in their element. And it tells me, you know, in 35 years, they've spent more time. Sorry, my dog's going berserk. They spent more time in prison than they've spent out of prison.
mm-hmm.
Resolved is the exact word. Hey, Nav.
You're right. And I think it's like they said, after the early 2000s, when they had made, you know, every kind of effort that they had available to them, but at that point, and it was all denied, you know, everything was denied. I mean, they were denied left and right. That they literally just from what we've been told, have they just reserved themselves in their
They've resigned to the fact that they're never getting out.
They are never going out. Like they will never get out. They have to accept this is what it is. And when you look at what they've done and how they've handled themselves within an institution like that, I don't know.
There's something else that I just observed, which I think is fascinating. Around Lyle's neck is a necklace.
I didn't even notice that.
How many prisoners do you know that get to wear necklaces? He must be a terrible human. I mean, that could kill him. I'm sure it could be used as a weapon of some sort, or he could use it as a weapon of some sort. I don't know. I'm not that creative, but they're allowing them certain things, and that's because they've earned it, because they're working every day on trying to be better human beings. Do I think that they should be let out? Fucking A right, I do. I think time served. I'm going to take them down now.
Wait, before you take I was literally looking, because the shape of Kitty's face, actually, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was looking at him and I was like trying to figure out, you know, who favors who in terms of parents. Just totally random while you had it up. I was going to ask, but it's not a big deal.
I mean, I can go pull it.
It's like the shape of Kitty's face I see in Lyle.
I was going to get into the questions.
But I was just like, oh, well, I was just, while it was up, I was just asking. And then I saw Will say, hold on, he's getting a grape crush real fast.
Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. So last year we did a list of questions when both of us had come up with questions for each other, and we did kind of ask each other these questions. And then we did it again tonight, earlier in the night, but I'd love to ask you guys what you think, if you have any answers, or if you just want to hear what our answers were, I can tell you. But then I have another questionnaire. So we're going to run through these as quick as possible because I don't need to keep everyone here all night long. All night long. Oh, see, you get songs too. I'm in a really great mood. I'm sorry. It's just a hell of a... So these are 19 questions, and most of them are yes and no. We tried to make it really easy. Hi, Grandma Sherry. Thanks for being here. It was so nice to see you. Welcome. So for LFT, we asked this before. Do you want to answer it now again and give any qualification? You know, I know you had some answers that you were like, it's yes, but it's no too. And I mean, I felt the same way. So if you want to answer these as we go, I'll do the same thing and give you my answers too. Did the O.J. Simpson trial influence the outcome of Menendez too?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we both said yes to that one. Were Lyle and Eric as close prior to the murders as the murders of their parents as they appeared? Were they as close prior to the murders as they appeared?
So I told you I went back to my first answer.
Yeah, you said no initially. I said, then you said yes tonight. I said no both times. They were living in different states. So for me, it was a no. They weren't that close. And when they were in high school, it was kind of like, that's my little brother. I don't really. Okay, this is where we're going to get into it. Do years of emotional, sexual, and physical abuse justify murder of both Kitty and Jose? Are you going to answer?
I'm sitting here thinking because I was like, I got nothing because it'll be the same thing I told you. Like, there's nothing that justifies. Obviously, we all agree with that murder, but yeah, I mean, a little bit.
The first time you answered, you said no, but it helps explain it. It gives insight
That's
to
my
the
answer.
behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a long ago answer.
That was a
Tonight,
year ago.
yeah, I said justify no, understand yes. You said yes tonight, and I said yes. Do you think
But what did
years
I
of
say?
emotional, sexual, and physical abuse justify the murder? Justify? No, it doesn't
No.
There's no justification. Do I understand it? Yeah, I do.
I like what Grandma Sherry says. It kind of maybe mitigates, justify no,
does.
but mitigates the punishment. Yes, and what Tia and I were saying, or what she read, was that does it help us understand why it took place and what was
Yes.
happening? Yes, but there's no like none of us have a right to go out. I mean, unless it's open carry law. Stand your ground. Just that. Put that effing aside.
Right
We all
now?
know that everyone knows that we don't like you. None of us should wake up and just be like, you know what? I'm justified. And boom, I'm gonna. There's no
There's
justifying.
no
There's
justification.
no
No way. But that's what I'm saying when I say, okay, they've done their time and they've been rehabilitated. How many people can we say this about? We can't. There's not many prisoners that get out that we're like, this guy's ready. He has done great. Do I think that they're going to go out on some kind of spree afterwards? No, I think they're going to be terrified of the world. Because as I said, they spent more time incarcerated than they have in the real world. And that's sad to me. But I do think that they're ready. And I think it's going to be a scary place. And I'm listen, I'm not worried.
We'll give it to them. Like, I do think they've, because of the way they've conducted themselves while in prison, that they have been afforded privileges, in terms of some advancements in technology, in terms of phone calls, Zoom, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Because I go back to like Shawshank and, what's his name, the librarian, when he was like, that just killed me because he becomes so used to the way he lived and survived, while serving his sentence. By the time he's paroled, it's like the world is overwhelming. Like, you don't know how to deal with it. But I see a little bit of difference with Lyle and Eric. Like, I think they understand like a lot's changed and they've had the benefit of being able to enjoy some of the privileges of technology. You know what I mean? Just the way that we've advanced. But like, I do think they're going to get out.
Institutionalized.
Yeah. And it's not going to be like an easy road.
Yes.
I do not see they're not going to be able to profit off of anything. I'm like, they're going to be stipulations. There's no doubt. And I don't think they're interested in that. I think they just want to live their life. And if what they say is true, and I think they've both said it, there isn't a day goes by that they don't think about what they did. And that if they could tell anyone, like, don't do it. It's not like, don't do it. Like, find another way. Like, we're the example of what not to do. I don't see them as like a threat to, like, Ozeal's not in danger if they get out. He should be in danger just because of his own dumbass actions, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Oziel was the therapist that Eric went to
he's
when he was,
practicing again, right?
yeah, when he was he was Eric's therapist. He was the one that
And he was the one that was hired, first of all, by Jose to begin with.
Mhm.
And then he got in a ton of trouble. Like, he got reprimanded and had his license revoked, at least for a period of time, but he's practicing again in New Mexico now. But when it comes to the standards of the law. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not even going there because we're still in the questions. All right, question 6, go for it, or whatever we're on.
I'm with you, Shift. I'd trade them for Gypsy as well. Do you think the money influenced the decision to murder?
No.
What if there wasn't any money to inherit? Do you think they
Doesn't
still would have done
matter.
it?
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think
100%.
I don't think money. They were living a life already of no.
I'm going to skip around and just go through a couple of these. Did Lyle and Eric have the same motive for murdering their parents?
The fear and trauma. I think that's the thing they shared for murdering their parents.
I think they trauma bonded, yes, for sure. But I think they had different. I think they were different. I think they were different. That's my opinion.
Grandma Sherry's going, wait. She's going, She's got to think about it for a
It's
second.
hard. I know. These are questions that they're thought provoking. And that's, I mean, when we did this initially, I was like, no, we have to have a hard line because that's what they're looking at. It's a yes or no. We can't be gray guy. You can't be the gray guy here. You got to be hard line. And so when we came up with these, it's like really hard to answer them yes or no. Did Lyle and Eric have the same? Did Eric purposely weaponize Lyle because he knew what Lyle might do?
I said no.
Did Lyle and Eric have the same? Did Eric purposely weaponize Lyle? I said no to that too. I don't think he expected, and yet somehow I think he still, I don't know. Did Lyle take advantage of the Eric situation to get rid of his parents?
I think it motivated him. I think it was no, because I just
Yes
thought
or
it's
no?
like, I thought it's the straw, like it's the straw on the camel's back. It was done.
I agree, Shift, but I don't know that they're going to get another trial. I think they're just going to do a resentencing. That second trial where they threw out the abuse excuse, if you want to call it that. I hate calling it that because it just degrades so many people. But I think that was a crime. I think that was the biggest crime, was that second trial.
Oh, they got railroaded. I mean, I said this to you earlier too, when I was going, okay, you can retry them, but retry them again, keep the same charges, the same everything, and here are your two options. What involuntary means? Is that what it was? Involuntary. And
Involuntary is without malice. Voluntary is, no, let me say that again. Voluntary manslaughter is,
the whole purpose is they didn't have the
manslaughter. Here we go.
Manslaughter wasn't an option, right? In the second trial, it was first degree.
Right. Manslaughter is the unlawful killing of a human while without malice. Voluntary manslaughter is a sudden quarrel or heat of passion.
And this is where I also think they got railroaded on the second one. When you take all that, here are your options. In trial number 1, is this a degree of murder, or does this fall under a degree of manslaughter? That was provided to them in trial 1, and things were let in. Trial 2, shit has hit the fan because
OJ.
because I was about to say because they didn't get the win that they needed, and
Because
they had
OJ.
and they had every right to retry it. But when you retry it, you do it again. Retry the case. You didn't retry the case. You took things off, and so they were. I think even half the attorneys were resigned themselves as to what's the best we can do for them right now. So because the DP was on the table at one point, but they took it off.
So Shift asks, can you survey the jury? Is that a thing? One of the things I wanted to mention is Hazel Thornton, jury member number 9, wrote a really good book on, I mean, to me, I thought it was a really great book. I enjoyed listening to her thoughts on the trial and how the boys were screwed over. And to this day, she's an advocate of them being released. And she talks about the jury room. She talks about the trial. She talks about the behind the scenes stuff. That's exactly right, Grandma Sherry. And that's one of the things we talked about earlier tonight was like, what if the trial, of all things being equal, and the abuse excuse was let into trial number 2, do you think that they would have been released? And my answer was no, because I don't think we were as progressive as we are now. I don't think we understood that men could be abused, that men could be raped, that things, the Diddy situation, if you will. So that's just my opinion.
And just for the
Everyone may have a different one.
I just looked through my notes and I was looking at something and about the whole Oziel thing. Like I said, it was
what Oziel thing?
Jose, with him as a therapist. It was someone that Jose had picked Oziel.
Yeah.
And for the he actually, I think if I'm understanding my notes correctly right here, I'll have to double check. But I've got September 30th, 1988. This is when Oziel started seeing the Menendez, as in Jose and Kitty together. So he was seeing them, and then Jose
they recommended the boys.
Recommended Oziel. So Oziel had been involved since at least.
But do you know why they did that?
Oh, I mean, I've got my opinion on it, but I don't.
Well, what is it? I remember. I'm literally asking you, what is your opinion?
Oh, why would, because Jose, I mean, that's who he was comfortable with. And
he was making sure he had all things covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he wasn't going to let him go to someone else.
It was a control thing. It was a power and control thing. That's my opinion. I think it was power and control. I think that's why he went to him first.
Because he's in charge.
Always, everywhere. Did Lyle weaponize Eric?
Oh, I think I said no.
Your first answer was yes, he was the puppeteer. Your second answer was no. I said yes. He did a little bit. He did a little bit, I think. A little bit weaponizing there. Who best capitalized from the murders?
I'm going to go with Tia's answers, the defense attorneys and media.
Yeah. Symbiotic. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Was Kitty complacent in the treatment of the abuse of Lyle and Eric? We already know the answer. Yeah. How about this one? Did Ellie do a sufficient job of investigating the case?
I
know my answer. Yeah, we both said no on that one because they sucked balls. Do you think they should be freed for time served?
Yeah.
Do you think they deserve another trial, including all evidence at this age? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I agree with, I mean,
which is exactly why Garagos and them have done what they did. That's why they submitted the habeas
mhm,
corpus filing prior to anything else, because you're able to put a stay on that. I mean,
mhm.
'cause that's when you're really hitting, like, they got really kind of nothing left. And so you go ahead and file that, because that's kind of like, I guess, almost like at what worst are you hoping for? Would be a new trial. At best, you would hope for resentencing. But the benefit of filing the habeas corpus is that you're able to put a stay on that if if resentencing is explored, or about like a viable avenue that the DA and the judge decide to pursue. So they could do the resentence, like submit the, which they have submitted the habeas corpus, and if that can go on stay, if judge, DA are like, okay, we'll consider resentencing. If that falls through, then boom, that's done. The habeas corpus can keep going through, and hopefully then their best option would be a retrial.
One of the questions I just saw was, it was on here. Mothers know what the hell is going on. Yes. So Kitty, the reason I say she was complicit in this is because she took Lyle at 14 years old to shower. What? What?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, at 14? I don't even want to look at my son, let alone spend 20 minutes in the bathroom while he's showering. Weird. Weird. But you know what? Schiff brings up a good point. Not all mothers know everything, and I do have to stand by that.
That's true,
But
but that also goes back to what was said in an interview in the early 2000s, I think by Joan. I think it was Joan.
mhm,
Apparently, that when the question was posed, would Kitty harm her children or something like that? The answer was no, essentially like no, like not on her own. But if Jose wanted to do something, she would
she
just
wouldn't
kind of,
stop him.
she wouldn't stop him. She would not stop him. It
Mm-mm.
was, she would kind of go, it just understood that is what it was. She would not stop him. And that, I think that speaks volumes too, because for whatever reasons, whatever she's experienced in her dynamics with Jose and her, whatever that might be, like, if if she's that complacent and still won't, when
Mhm.
you've got your two children, yours, and you're still like, if Jose was like, we're taking him out, and maybe she wouldn't want to, she didn't have the power or the strength or anything to go up or to combat, like she wouldn't be for it, but she wouldn't go against them.
Well, she was a shell of a
Wouldn't-
human too,
yeah, she
because,
wouldn't do
if you
anything.
go back with some of the letters and stuff, Lyle's describing how she is just a shell of a human. She's
Mhm.
drinking every day, starting earlier and earlier every day. She's taking pills, she's angry all the time. Her husband's having affairs, sometimes with young boys, sometimes with girls, but it doesn't really matter to him, matters to me. He deets on the motherfucking streets. Hey Kathy, you finally caught alive. Thanks for coming in. Um, that is not deets, by the way.
I know, I got it. I already
Oh, you
know.
got it? All right,
Yeah,
good.
I got it.
Thanks.
I got it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
All right.
Deets on the motherfucking streets.
I'd seen it before, but I think what I
That's
just saw
interesting. They got a wrench in our chat.
I know, that's where it's making me laugh. I got it.
Okay, who is it? Because they
I'm
have a
sending
wrench
it
in
to
our
you.
chat.
I'm
Okay.
sending it to you.
You appreciate what you said, Tia, the uncle, and I'm not trying to change minds. No, I can't change. 90-year-old man, you can't change any minds.
Mm-mm. No, he's dead set. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I have another role for you to play.
Oh God! Don't make me put
Okay.
on those deal glasses.
I saw them at Target. I'm gonna get them.
Why? We already got them when we were at Target a year ago.
I don't have
They're,
them.
they're right. They're sitting by the chair by the desk.
Are we in the same room?
Sometimes.
That was a good answer. Uh, hold on. Oh, okay. Wow. That's disappointing,
I'm not.
Wolfie.
Is
That's
that?
really disappointing.
I don't
All
know
right.
what's what.
Oh, it's Wolfie. That's what you just sent me.
Yeah, I know. But just
I
continue.
think it's pretty funny, though. I'll tell you that much. I got trolled tonight, too. Welcome in.
Oh
See
my
how
God,
we
do we
do?
have to put it on members only so it can be less of a UNT meeting for all of us right now?
No.
That's a
It
joke.
was, I think it was hilarious, though. I really do. Okay, so your next role, ready? Your next role is you are going to be Eric Menendez. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, my first session with Oziel was on October 4th, 1988.
Okay, but we're
I'm
not
ready.
talking about that. You're ready. Today is your day. Are you ready?
Who am I again, Eric?
You're
Yeah, I'm on
Eric.
it.
Okay.
Shocking.
So, hang on one second.
And I do think there was prejudice in the courts to prove that justice or injustice could happen to rich white folk too. God, I think
Risk. I know. Isn't that weird? That's so weird.
it is kind of God. That just kind of gave me chills thinking about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
the irony of it.
It was very ironic.
I had
Very.
forgotten about that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Russ, because I think we knew that, but
We
I'd totally
did.
forgotten, and I'd totally forgotten until um.
I just got a
Oh
message
my
from
God,
Chef saying, "Go on." Just
go
right
on.
in
I
her
know
voice, I
I'm
heard
reading
it.
my chat on the computer, but the messages pop up on the same corner of the laptop screen, and so I'm
Go
reading a
on.
message, and all I got was "go on," and I was like,
I
I
love
can't see
that.
the rest of
Okay.
Will.
So, are you ready to play Eric? Here we go. You are in a suit and tie. Happy Halloween, buddy. You're in a suit and tie. You're now sitting in front of the parole board. And I'm going to ask you some questions. And I want to know how you would answer as Eric Menendez, trying to get out of jail right now. Prison, not jail, prison. These are some of the questions that the parole board may ask. Why
I'm
are you in
confused as
prison?
to why I'm sitting here. I don't even have the option for parole. Is this
Shh,
first of all,
listen,
did y'all pick
just
the wrong
stop
number?
it. No,
Okay.
stop, for real. Why are you in prison? There's a point to this.
I killed my
Why are you in
parents.
prison? What led you to this crime?
It's really hard for me to say. It's kind of, I mean, it's complicated. There's no real good
What led you
excuse.
to this crime?
I am talking. I thought I'm answering like Eric.
You are, but I'm looking for a for real here. Like,
But that's what I'm doing. I literally think this is how Eric would start it. Watch every one of his interviews, and he kind of thinks about it like there's no good excuse. But it what I suffered at the hands of my father, the not only emotional but physical abuse and sexual abuse, the trauma, the power, it became overwhelming. It was something I could no longer deal with. It was either I take to the point where
okay,
I
you're gonna have to
take my
shorten
own
your
life.
answer. We got lots of questions here.
But this is how I'm telling you. Can you watch
I
where you're
know, but
going?
we're also like we're time restricted. Do you think the sentence you received fits the crime?
for what the jury was offered, yeah, we got what we deserved.
Do you feel remorse for your actions?
Every day of my life, every
Good
minute
answer.
of every other day.
Why should you be granted parole? And I know that we're not doing parole, but I'm kind of getting unresolved emotion.
Why should I be granted parole?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a privilege and an opportunity that I don't take lightly,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's something that many in my position aren't offered, and something that should be respected. I've resigned for the last 33 and a half years. I'd resigned myself to I will end up in these cement walls and go out in a box. But I've done my best to make the best of my life in here and to better not only myself, but offer support to others.
Chris says he wants some Cheerios.
Honey Nut Plain. Ruth, I'm going as a Cheerio for Halloween.
Good answer, by the way. That was really good. I agree with all those. What guarantees do we get that you will not reoffend?
All I can offer it, you get no other guarantee but my word, and then what I'm able to prove to you if I'm allowed to be paroled. I've worked so hard to overcome what I've done and to understand why I did it and why there are better options and ways to deal with things. I have more strength and power in the way I can handle myself and the way I feel about things. And I know that no good comes from doing what we did.
What makes you
I never want to do that again.
Fair enough. What makes you think you can cope in the community?
Because I've earned the privileges I've worked hard to earn the privileges of some the modernization that people experience in the community today. I try to keep an eye on the dynamics. I want to learn and to live and to do the best I can. And acting like I did when I was 18 years old is not serving the community.
Okay.
And I would never do it again. Famous messages later then.
What will you do if you're not allowed to go back to your hometown? Oh, okay. That's dumb.
No, I mean, I'm cool with 9021. What?
You don't think they were sexually abused? Risk what? What? What?
Some people don't.
See, and this is why I flippin' love having Risk in here, because he offers a different perspective on things and makes me have to explain myself and think. And sometimes I think he's trolling me, and sometimes I think he's being honest. But I do think that they were abused.
But risk is risk, and like I said,
I'm not here to change his mind.
No, part of me is
I'm here to appreciate. I'm
sense.
literally here to appreciate what he has to say. I really, and I do mean that.
Yeah, but I have to admit, Risk, there were times I think early on. Granted, when did this happen? What year was it? 89, right?
Let me just address this really quick. Then I apologize. I completely and 100% apologize. 100%. That was my bad. And that was my misunderstanding. So I'm going to publicly apologize to you, Wolfie. And I do, from the bottom of my heart, mean that. So please accept my apology. Hey, Punkette.
And that's why I was And sorry, I was literally saying like we're fine. Just message us later. Like I don't.
Sorry, I was concentrating on the question. I have I'll show you. I have a list of questions I'm trying to read, and if I could explain to you guys why I'm trying to
on.
What up, beaches? I am. This is no shit. I'm legally blind in my left eye right now. I'm gonna cry. Please don't make me cry. I've been going through hell with my eye. So when I go to read something now, like I'm in my paper. So I'm not looking at chat. I apologize to you for not looking and seeing that. I just don't recall anything evidence to show what happened, but it's been a long time. Okay.
I've got it mapped out and on my I just found a ton of my
Yeah.
notes and stuff, y'all, and I'm like going, oh damn, like
There's a
okay,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
evidence and a lot of
Wait,
people
what?
that remember that the boys, and I say the boys term very
I was 6 years. I was roughly no, because I'm an August
hold
birthday.
up.
I wasn't even 6 years old when this happened.
Again, I apologize. I'm not even going to make an excuse or a but or anything add to it, just the words I apologize to you. The evidence is the other people that saw, heard, all the senses that you can do.
I mean, I think it's interesting
Right.
though how we
I was going to say Brian and Kathleen. Brian and Kathleen, when they stayed with them, the cousins heard and saw things.
Andy said something about, and all the family
Andy,
said, like, even looking back, there was no doubt that Jose was the formidable one. Like, it was understood, but there was also there was forever an underlying tension in the house. Like I think the family kind of just accepted it for what it was. And some people yesterday I heard said all those people are just as much at fault for not speaking up and not saying something back then. Like there's no excuse for it. And I can actually almost appreciate that. But again, this is where we have to go back and have to understand the timing. Look at what's happening now in the entertainment and music industry and what's coming to light and how long it's been going on and how fearful people are to come forward and what it takes. And back, when this happened in 1980, in August of 89, the boy, it wasn't even something that they were like, I think they would, if they could have, they would have taken this element to the grave. I don't think Eric or Lyle would have said anything unless it came to the point where they had to come forward because of what they did. But I think even if this hadn't have happened, I bet they would have never said, I have no doubt they would have never said anything. They would have been another one that I think they would have acted out. It would have affected them in different ways as they grew older.
I don't think Eric would be here.
I'm not sure. That was exactly what I was thinking. I think which kills me because I think I think at the end of the day, they were dealt a really sucky. They got privilege out the wazoo. There's no doubt in that. But they also were domineered, and it's hard, and some of us understand it in our own ways. It's hard to walk on eggshells every day and to know one day things are good and the next thing things are bad. And you can be in college and do something and a parent can come down on you. And even though you were over the age of 18, maybe even 21, it is still,
hold on.
Still has power over you.
So yeah, and I don't just like I said, I don't disagree with any of that. I don't think they can prove the dad was doing that. I don't think you're right. I agree with that statement. I don't think they can prove it. I agree. And I agree that you shouldn't take it into your own hands. Again, they are young men who didn't really see, and I find myself making excuses, and I don't want to do that because there is no excuse for murdering your own parents. the control was still a problem for them. They could have left, and one of them did, but they were both being gone right instead of left. I think that's true as well. Here's the
Okay.
deal, though. The dad was a big wheeler and dealer and was making it impossible for the boys to return back to New Jersey. Absolutely
Also,
forbid.
Jose had the same choice. He could have gone right instead of left. He could have, if what not only the boys are claiming, what other people in the industry are coming forward and saying, what the what's his name, Roy is coming from, like, and it's taken a while, but they have verifiable, like, if they have whatever they're saying is enough to be listened to, or for people in power to actually, if it's enough to sway an opinion in the legal field, for lack of a better word, to come forward and for it to be taken seriously, I have to give some credit there. But that's where I'm going, like, you're right. Those boys, I've had moments in my life, but I was too fearful. Like, I knew that I would get my ass beat, like, just get in trouble, not ass beat, literally. Sorry, that was a y'all know what I'm saying, though. That fear of, like, holy crap, I got to do this. But so I went one way or another. Jose also at the same time had the choice of, I may be powerful and that guy might be cute or something, or I can have power over him, but I'm not he could have gone left, but he went right in his eyes. Everyone has the same, it could be applied to every person in this scenario, in my opinion.
Do you
But the
want to
fact
take
is
that question?
today with more coming to light, and I understand Kitty and Jose aren't here to defend themselves, and that shouldn't be, but that is what it is. But when you have this, with 35 years later, and there's still so much behind it that people are going, holy no, that isn't, like, it was so much more than what was presented. And then you get more and more people coming out, then you got to call, like, you got to go, we got to call a spade a spade. Something may have been up. And you're right, unaliving or killing your parents is never the answer. But it's happened, and now they've admitted it, and they've stuck by it, and they were sentenced for it. But people, like, I go back to, like, Susan Smith or anyone else that killed her children, was having an affair and killed her children, and she's sentenced, but she's up for parole. You got to be kidding me. She had a mental disorder, maybe the kid, like, or some sort of psychological problem. Ann Burgess, I will kiss the ground she walks on, y'all. She is pioneered as a female and as an expert in the field of,
as a female.
God, like, she's unreal. And when you have someone like that coming in and helping to also explain the reason why things happen, and for her to just, like, God, talk through. I don't know if y'all saw. I think it's the Hulu special, y'all. It's all about her. It's amazing. Watch it. But she was there. She took the stand in the first trial. And I'm not going to, like, I think I will never buy an abuse excuse. I will never be able to put an excuse next to abuse in this kind of situation. I'm sorry.
All right. So let's get back, because I have some questions here.
No, I meant literally left versus right. Sorry.
No. Why did they need their family member's ID to purchase the guns if they were just for defense, as they claim?
Well, they used, weren't they using Eric's, or wait, was one of them, they were using their fake ID, right? Because they didn't want it in their name.
Lyle. Well,
Lyle's,
I thought, and I was just going through my notes here really quick, and I have to go through, I know I have it in here, when they bought the guns the day of. Didn't they use, I didn't think it was a family member. I thought it was like Perry's.
I thought, well, then it was something about, like, a friend's ID, but essentially I think
That's Perry, the neighbor.
Yeah. And
I thought it was his ID. But what I wanted to get to with that was Eric did sit with a gun in his room on his lap, waiting for his, oh God, see, now I got my reading glasses on. I can't read the screen. What?
Oh, sorry. I was going to read it for you, because I was about to say that's what it said was, no, because you couldn't read the screen. So I was going to read it, but keep going.
He sat on his bed waiting for his father to come in because he was going to use it as self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
But his dad never came in that night. And what I need to do before we really, I feel actually kind of bad about this because that's a great question, is I need to go through and like go through my notes and read what happened the days prior.
Oh, I got it.
So do I, but I'm just saying, like, I don't need to do it right now. That's our next live. We should probably sit down and go through Monday, was this, Tuesday was this, Wednesday was this, and go through each one.
Because that was killing me the other night, and I'm glad you brought it up because
Here it is right here.
Made a bullet. I made like a mental bullet note in my head to be like, oh my God, there is an argument for premeditation in terms of purchasing the guns, which
there absolutely is.
There absolutely is. I am not denying that. But then I was like, holy crap. There's the interviews and the statements by Eric himself that literally says he had that, like, once they got it, he would sit on his bed. And I was like, wait a minute. That to me shows, again, that fear.
Hold on. Let me interrupt you for one quick second because this goes back to proof. And I forgot about this, but again, I haven't read all through my notes, and my notes are really something here. Page 2 of my one set of notes, a 7-year-old Eric was hospitalized for injuries to the back of his throat, posterior larynx, and the soft palate, which is consistent with oral grape.
Mm-hmm.
1977, Eric admitted to ER at Princeton Medical Center for injuries to mouth and throat. 9-year-old Lyle tells his cousin Diane Vandermoen that he was afraid of his dad coming into his room and they had been touching each other down there. He's 9 years old and this is happening. Mm-hmm. Like, he's telling people at a young age, years prior. And is this solid proof? No, it's not solid proof. It's all hearsay. But I don't know. Nobody removed him because nobody knew.
Mm-mm. I do remember. I think Ann Burgess even talked about that. Something about doctor visits that, and it was something that she also mentioned that was so specific to her. She talked about how when she would meet with Eric, and she spent over 50 hours with him in the jail doing all this. And as she spoke to him, she would have him like draw things out. This is what she said to you right yesterday. Like, I guess for her, when she engages with someone to like literally draw it out, right, you get to see everything. But she was like, that's something that really stuck with her in terms of the specifics and the ways of coping that really brought it into this being a very real reality for them, was the putting the cinnamon in Jose's coffee and stuff.
Yep. So the acting out.
So that it would taste better. It would cut the bitterness, apparently. And so he started putting the cinnamon in his dad's drinks because the taste of, we all know, he did it to like alleviate, to help it.
Well, he did it so he didn't taste.
But it was supposed to help, right? Like take.
No, it was supposed to numb the taste buds.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to. Yeah.
So we didn't have to taste that bad. Like it helped mask that. And she was like, that is those kind of details. She was like, this is someone that's evolving and like self-protect, like trying to survive and deal and protecting oneself, like in their own small ways that they can, because they like, you can't put a stop to it. Then, I don't even want to know, like.
Interesting. So I cannot get past the hearsay and the timing of the band member, but the band member's been speaking out for years. It's not just now. Like, wasn't it a couple of years ago? Because I mean,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but there's also the proof that he provided was describing the inside of the house and inside of the bedrooms and inside, you know what I mean? Places like he shouldn't have been.
That we don't.
Being
like you go on Zillow or something to kind of find. And he also related it. I think he had to have, I believe before, I would hope even before he did the documentary and stuff, but as he was coming forward with this, he has corroboration too for what he's saying. Like they
Yeah.
take Eric and Lyle out of it. He himself, for his specific situation, has
Yes, and that is
additional
true. They are
corroboration.
still trying to. Yes, that you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I freaking love that there's people in here. When did the band guy come out? It's.
wanna
I'll have
say
to check
that-
my notes, but it's been probably 3 years because it was last year that the
documentary came out last
documentary
year.
came out. So it had to be a year before, 2 years before that, minimally, that he came out
And-
with it.
And an attorney said yesterday, and this is an attorney that, well, in my opinion, I actually appreciate and like, and it is not anyone like coffin doctor.
Hey,
or anything
Mystery,
like
thanks
that,
for being
but they
here.
were, they were talking about that for it to get as far as it has for the Roy, I'm sorry,
Rosello.
Thank you for his filing and his account to be taken this seriously and to have gone this far up to this point. He was like, that takes a lot of strength for him to come forward after all these years. But like people have said, we are watching people do it every day now. Some people might be trying to like jump on a bandwagon or stuff, but there are some sincere victims, and the quote unquote proof that they have, it has to be more substantial for it to go this far and for it to be now taken into consideration in terms, I can't even imagine what Garagos and them have potentially been able to get from Roy's attorneys, things that we only get a glimpse on, a documentary, but there has to be so much more to that, and that the DA's getting. I got to put a little bit, if I'm going to have faith in the system, this has to, there's parts of this that has to surpass hearsay for it to be at this point.
What do I think of Norma's book? Norma, the Lyle book, is that the one you're talking about? Is that, I read it, but to be honest with you, I have to go back and read it again. Is that the one you're?
I thought we
Make
did.
sure that I'm talking about the right book. Is that the right book? The Lyle.
We did Hazel, the audio book, right? Hazel Thornton did the audio.
Hazel Thornton did the audiobook, but Norma, oh God, what is her name? No. Norma No something did Lyle in his like a yes, the reason he didn't testify. Thank you. I have to go back and read it. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I work on something like the Menendez brothers, I am 100% all in. And I will dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And we did on this, and I was obsessed. I read every book there was to read. I listened to all the audiobooks. And then while we're in the middle of it, Rachel Morin happened. And I switched gears very quickly. And I moved into Rachel Morin, and I have not looked back. And it is really difficult. I'm being 100% honest because my memory has some lapse in it. And I'm really glad that I found my notes because I would really be talking out of my ass tonight. I don't remember a lot of what we looked up, and I need to refresh my memory.
I can share my screen if you'll let me real fast. I can give just a glimpse.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Hold on.
But yeah, so when you ask me questions, they're triggering memories, but it takes me a second to rewind and make sure that I'm talking about the right case and the right person. I'm not good at going back. I do apologize. Not an excuse at all. It's just, that's how my brain is. Menudo was a bunch of, hey, Risk. Don't say that. They were fruitcakes.
Bristol, it was the late 80s. But listen, Menudo too, I learned like they kept that band young. Like once someone hit like 17, they were bringing in someone else. I mean, Roy came in at what, age 14?
Brisk, that's not how we speak in here, and you know better. I don't like that kind of thing.
Hold on.
I let you run amok on a lot of things, friend, but when you use terms like that, I remember those boys, and now to hear what was left out of the original trial and where they did not.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Um,
I don't know if you can see it yet.
so apparently you removed me when you came in.
All
I
I,
was in there.
all
That
I
was,
did was share, and then
yeah.
I haven't
And
clicked
then I was
anything.
gone.
That wasn't me, but just to give y'all an idea.
Can you move to you? We have a timeline of the event, overview of
What?
the timeline. Yeah, I don't have all this. You need to send this to me. Okay, that's what I was looking for there. Okay, so go back to where the start. No, just to the date, the week. So summer, is that what that says? I can't read it. I'm trying. Summer of
Mhm.
what? Is that 80?
88. So this
88.
remember when they were robbing like the neighborhood houses, and that's when or Lyle and them were doing it, but they got Eric because he was underage, like he couldn't be charged as an adult when they stole things from their neighbors. Ozeel's first session. This is why they got in with why Ozeel got involved too, because remember the boys were kind of acting out. And then you get into August. Here we go of 89.
Hey Chico, welcome in. Yeah, Risk. I'm not comfortable with that comment. I need you. Can somebody remove Risk's comment? Just I don't like that kind of thing. That's not how we do around here, buddy. You know that.
Yeah.
Thank you. At Risk, you're always welcome, but when we can't. Nope. I'm proud supporter of all and every, and I mean that. I don't like that. Makes me uncomfortable.
But just to show y'all, like we had like we've got all the links.
It's a risk to have him in here. I tell you, really, he's been here for years. It's a risk to have him in here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, here's all this stuff like the filings that we were going through, like putting each filing, summary of the arguments.
I know. It's interesting because I'm having to really give some thought to some of the feelings that I have on them being released. And I love the challenge. I love the pushback. I love that. And I love looking at through someone else's lens on how they think. So I appreciate the difference in opinions. I really do. I have my opinion, and I'm not asking anyone to change my mind, but also if someone can bring facts that might, educate me some more, I'm always willing to hear. I believe them more than before, but still not enough. Okay. All right. Interesting. I think I need to type my notes up, but like in billboard style, because I can't see shit. Diane said she saw Kitty go down the hall to help Lyle shower at 14 years old, and his showers were more than 20 minutes. Kitty told her therapist 6 weeks before her death that she was hiding a sick and embarrassing secret regarding her family. 14-year-old Lyle wrote an essay. Oh, yeah. Okay. That was a tough
That
one.
whole thing. I mean, there are elements that, I mean, there's no denying that would point to like interpret it one way, like that whole this screenplay thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But also the more I'm learning about it and really trying to, because I may be really right or like lean to the right side a lot of times, potentially, but like I've really tried to educate myself on some of this and to understand the behavior and how certain traumas impact you. Like this has been happening, since you were around the age of approximately 5.
Yeah.
And then when you write a screenplay, when you're 16 or something like that, like I got news for you. That actually helps me make sense of it. But it's taken me a while to actually learn to actually educate or attempt to educate myself about it and to become more knowledgeable in the different facets, because this is not just like I wish it was such a simple one-way street, like a direct straight line that, it is what it is and it's all it can be. Like this, if it's this line is that and that and that. But I'm sorry, I just don't feel it's like that. And I think
No, it's gray. And that's why I said I'm 100% gray. I wear gray outfits. Like I'm gray. And that's why for me, this is like, I can understand where people are like, yeah, no, like too much doubt or, have a difference in opinion. I can get that, but also I'll tell you what this is doing for me is I came up here unpracticed and forgotten a lot. And this is going to make me go back to the drawing board. I'm also going to tell you the truth. I haven't been into true crime. So I appreciate the pushback because this is making me want to go back and really, and I think LST can tell you that I would have wanted to go to the gynecologist more than I wanted to do this live tonight, to be fair.
She literally said that. And I was like, I don't want to go there. Like, I don't want to go to the gynecologist.
I don't love doing lives. I love researching. I don't love doing lives. And I appreciate this live for many reasons because why kill the mother? Because she was complicit in the actions.
I have my thought. Yeah, risk. That one has been a stickler for me too. But
because she was complicit, because she was part of it.
And I think too is, and again, it goes back to even what family members are saying now, like, even if she thought it was wrong, she didn't do anything she wouldn't, for some reason, she was incapable.
Chico,
putting her foot down or attempting to, she didn't take the boys and take them away from the situation. She didn't do something that was putting her foot down.
She didn't do anything. She could have done a million things. She didn't do shit. That was my problem. She didn't do anything.
But I do think that's a reasonable question. Like none of us are never going to see eye to eye on this situation. None of us are. Hell, Tia and I don't even see eye to eye, like going through certain things. But at the end of the day, I come to the facts of the law. They have been charged. They were charged with first degree, no possibility of parole.
Hold on a second. So the money seems to be a kicker for risk. I want to tell you that the uncle was in charge of the money, not the boys.
Risk, did you know about the grand jury before? And I'm going to wait till Risk answers. Did you know about before the first trial? I believe it was the first trial. Do you know what happened with the grand jury in terms of it being out of greed and money? It didn't fly. The grand jury didn't buy it. That's why
him. So that leads me to believe he doesn't know about the grand jury. Go ahead, tell him.
That was presented to a grand jury. That's what the state went with first, was that this was murder, essentially murder for profit, that they would get everything. They presented it to the grand jury and the grand jury did not agree.
It was not murder for profit.
It was not. And now that I'm reading more and I'm seeing how they try to introduce the elements of the greed and whatnot and for the money, now knowing that was not ruled upon, verified by the initial grand jury on that. Now I like the way they hint at elements of that throughout the first trial and certainly the second. Like now it makes sense to me the way they did that, the state, in terms of trying to go at it. Because let's put it this way, those boys lived a privileged life, like regardless. Like I'm sorry, at 18 and 21, I bet they did spend a little bit more afterwards. I gotta say, like, you are mind effed out the wazoo at that point. I'm not excusing it. I'm just trying to kind of understand, like literally trying to be rational about it and to understand the irrational behavior that might be perceived the boys were displaying after the murders. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like I'm literally trying to think about it like that. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone has also said too, those boys like going to get a car or go do something. Like, okay. Yeah, they were able to
Watch
make
his 3 Rolexes that Eric gave away. He never kept them.
there are certain things that they did that they shouldn't have. But you
I
know
think
what?
it's masking their feelings. You know how you have, and I'm using, that's a terrible idea. I don't want to.
Have a good night, Kathy P.
Thanks for coming in, Kathy. Oh,
Get
yeah.
some rest.
5 a.m. does come early. I wanted to address Chico's comment because I brought it up once before. And I think it's important that thought they did it maliciously, but you never know what you'll do when being abused. I agree with that. I also think it was malicious. I think there was malicious intent. That's why it can't be voluntary manslaughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can see both sides of the fence on that one.
You can also see why when Ellie entered, the living room or the den
Mm-hmm.
that night and witnessed the scene, the chaos of it and the brutality of it almost speaks like that's where it's almost like sometimes like that overkill, it's like a passion, there's an emotion, there's a reason behind it. And I think that's kind of like when Eric just said, like, he just walked in and he just fired. Like, he can't remember anything. It was just not, and so it was nothing.
At my parents. Yeah.
And it was nothing like.
What were you firing at? At my
it
parents.
wasn't like they were like going to the gun range every other day and like practicing like pew, pew, like every kill shot kind of deal, or hell, look at.
It was so overkill.
It was so I agree,
such
but I think that
overkill.
chaotic of it is that actually I expect no less. If it had been like boom, boom, one shot to each, they were so honed in and knew exactly what the F they were doing. You're right. I actually might have a little bit more of a different theory than of being like
that would scare me more.
Yeah, that would scare the hell out of me.
That would scare me more. This just aimlessly shooting 17 was 14, excuse me, 14 shots sprayed everywhere. And
no Murdaugh, like look at those kind of shots that were able to be taken.
That's what I think too, Will. Overkill goes to the hatred from the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling as well. I do agree with that. But again, I'm not here to change anyone's mind. I'm just here to deliver my feelings and information, and you can disagree and we can have a conversation.
It'd be cool to do like a mock trial of this again.
Oh God, that's so long. A mafia hit. Well, here's the thing. And one of the things that's really cool is that, not really cool. I shouldn't say that. It's not really cool. But in prison, they were in prison with Michael Francis, who was Sonny Bonanno's son of the Bonanno family, New York, 5 families, mafia, blah, blah, blah. And he talks about the fact that when he was in prison with them, Lyle and Eric both did tell him about the abuse prior to, and this was years ago. This is when they first were in there. I think early 90s. He's had conversations with them, and he's, he can tell stories and things of what the boys told him. Again, they could have, I'm going to say this. I don't see like real brainiacs here in the Menendez brothers. I don't see like highly skilled, really smart, intelligent engineers. Let's be real. Lyle was failing out of Princeton. He didn't belong there in the first place. It was purchased in because his dad was who he was. He wasn't doing well in school. Neither one had, great. Eric was going to go to UCLA, and that was because so we could keep him close to home.
He wanted to go live in the dorms, but Dad was like,
was it USC or UCLA? It was UCLA, right?
It would be UCLA. Yeah, UCLA, and because he wanted he was looking forward to like moving into the dorms and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
and it was the dinner. It was either 7 to 5 nights before.
Yep. We
So
have that all. That's what I'm saying. We have that all mapped out. I think there was a
wanted to
ton of
say
emotions
that's what
went between their
it was
emotions
a
took over.
discussion
Right.
where Jose told him that he would not live on campus.
Yeah. That
And
was
I do agree with actually it was sloppy for sure to blame the mafia was not going to work. I agree with that. And I also actually kind of agreed with Risk too. I have to mention they shot so much because they had no idea how to use or handle the weapons. I do agree with that too. I agree with that.
Now their plan was dumb from jump. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a plan. It was let's just do, aim at the wall and hope to God someone's in front of it.
And
it
then
was
they would like walk outside and reload. And then when they're done, get in their car, put the stuff in the trunk, dispose of whatever, and then go do a few things, which there's no doubt that they did.
They went to the damn movies.
And no one is negating, like no one's saying they didn't do that stuff. No, that's just like if we all take a second and just sit back in retrospect and be like, damn, could y'all see anyone being able to do that today or even like 10 years ago?
Well, if they would have done it today, we would have had the videos of the guns being dropped on Mulholland Drive. We would have had them in the video watching the movies. We would have had the video of them. We would have had recordings of them calling Perry. You know what I'm saying? Like there would have been they would have been doomed from much earlier on.
It was just, it's just wild to me to think what I turned in the August 20 something. I'm only 6 years old when this happened. Oh, or getting ready to turn 6. And looking back on it now, like it feels to me like I don't remember it obviously then, but I felt like it happened like when I was, like in middle school because I guess that's when the trial and everything. Yeah, it'd be around OJ. Right?
They didn't think it through.
They did not think. We didn't think it. I don't think they thought much through except their fear and
they weren't developed it either. They're not, like I said, they're not brainiacs. These kids, and at the time they were.
I do think in their head, and given the dynamics and how that family operated, it wasn't like they had a sign that Jose or Kitty were going to do something to them necessarily tomorrow, but they knew, like in their mind, in their true belief, they thought something was coming, like because they were hitting the point.
Well, they thought they were going to die on Sunday.
Oh yeah, when they went on the fishing trip.
They went on the fishing trip. They thought they were dead, and they sat. And even the captain of the boat. I don't know if you guys knew this or remember it. I should say remember because most people know it. They the Sunday before the killings, the father rented a fishing boat, and they all went out on the boat. And Mom and Dad were in the back having a grand old time drinking and schmoozing and doing their thing. And the boys sat up front getting sprayed and were freezing all day. And they sat up there and didn't move for like 6 or 8 hours, some ridiculous amount of time. And they sat up there the entire time and didn't move. They were terrified to move because they didn't think that they didn't think they were coming home. They thought they were going to die.
Yeah, and what they say, it was like cold too, like the water was even like
it was freezing.
It was kind of like cold, but the boys sat up there,
soaking wet.
Yeah.
This was the captain's testimony. They sat up there soaking wet and frozen and did not move. It would not come to the back of the boat with their parents. They literally thought they were going to die.
They said it was he said it was like the weirdest dynamics. And then I remember Eric and Lyle, I think they talked about it at one point in one of the interviews, and the ride out there to go fishing, like he was like, it was silent.
Is that in the series? Okay. Thank you.
See, I started watching.
I remember seeing the pictures from the boating trip. But I remember doing the actual, like, Sunday they did this, Monday they did this, Tuesday was the argument, Wednesday was the, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I go through Menendez in my head, is the week prior, because the week prior was everything. It wasn't just the abuse. It was so much happened in that week.
Yes, hold on. I was about to say, hold on. I think I've got it. Oh my gosh, we really have to go. Who else is digging deep into this? We need to join in with someone to go over, walk through all this stuff. God, there's so much.
There
Talk
is
about
so much. And this is like, it's good because, like I said, I haven't been into doing true crime. I'll just be
I don't
honest.
know if y'all noticed, but the streets kind of suck right now.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. Like, it hasn't interested me. After Rachel Morin, I was and still very, very caught up, and I cannot fucking talk about it. Just know that I keep saying that I thought we could announce some things and we can't, because that's the way the world is. And the only thing that I can say about Rachel Morin's case is that I will be there April 1st, 2025 at the courthouse.
You know what's
We could do
sorry.
Menendez Mondays. That's a great idea. Menendez Mondays. I love that.
Instead
I
of
didn't
meeting
understand why
at the
Eric didn't like the series.
that
don't
thing.
think- I
I
haven't
didn't watch
seen
the whole thing, but I heard it was kind of like
what
didn't it
Monsters.
kind of, yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, I
I
heard it
told
was
you the other day that
awful.
I
Lyle,
turned it on. First of all, I like a documentary that includes like interviews and stuff. I don't love reenactments. Kind of like so when I turned it on, I was like, oh shit. So what, that was last week or something? And you're like, I was like, there's literally nothing on, but I have episode 1 up on the TV right now. It's
nope.
like cleaning, crafting. I was doing a ton of other things. It's really interesting how they're portrayed in it, but I want to say there's certain elements, apparently certain liberties taken with the relationship between Lau and Eric that were portrayed maybe not accurately and whatever.
Well,
But
that series is there was more fiction than there was reality. There's some other series that were or documentaries that were done that were very well done. I prefer digging with the books, going through the trial itself. We did a lot of sitting, watching the trial.
in actual interviews or things.
Interviews. But to be honest with you, like I loved sitting there and watching the trial because that's where I got the best, most accurate information.
You know what's crazy? That in January of 1990, when Lau, what was it, Chuck's? Is that the restaurant or whatever he wanted?
I was just talking about them before you came in. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. That was rude.
Is that not what that he bought it for? And I know that this is a lot of money, no doubt, but this is in 1990, $550,000.
Mm-hmm.
$550.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine what that would be today? I'm sorry. I'm just going through I'm reading through my notes and I'm going, well, damn. I mean, I'm not. That's
nobody talks about Kitty's brother that thinks the brothers are where they belong. Yeah. I just talked about that. He did an interview yesterday. Well, like I said, he didn't do the interview. His victim's advocate did an interview, and he doesn't want that. He's the
press conference.
No, she wasn't at a press conference. She was sitting in his living room. She said he doesn't believe that they were abused, and that's. I don't know how do you prove that, number one? That's really a tough thing to prove. Monsters is on Netflix. I don't recommend it, but others may really like it.
That's the one that's it's like the reenactment. It's like actors playing out the story. It's like what, 6 or I think I might be on episode 2 and it was in the background. I would tell you there are other documentaries on, I think, Prime and
there's some really good ones out there.
I would watch
the Hulu one. Yeah. Is that the one we watched, the Hulu one?
I think so. There were some good
really
ones.
Good.
It's like one of them, and then there's one on Discovery, which is on my Prime thing. I know that Eric Tells All, him, there's
that was really good. That was really good. The one where he does the interviews from prison and talks about it was interesting. That was actually, I forgot about that one. But very good, very interesting stuff. But yes, I actually am going to take Black Sheep Designs by Ange and say we're going to do, instead of Murdoch Mondays, remember we used to do those? We should do Menendez Mondays. Meeting of the Mind Menendez Mondays.
Yeah, and we all know, by the way, Murdoch, I forgot to do the community post, but I know y'all all saw it by now. I know Tia and I saw it shortly after it was announced, before Court TV posted it on their community post the next day. The $500,000 settlement for the Beach family. So
I have my own feelings about that.
500,000 is what they settled for the Beach family, and by the end of it, I'm glad they even got that. I know it was partly insurance and everything, but still, I'm glad that they were able to get something out of the financial
I am
situation.
too, but
damn,
just Mallory
so
Beach putting a I struggle.
So let me-
I struggle
so
putting a
compare
number
that
on a
to-
human.
So they get $500,000 for that boating accident that took a life.
Yeah.
And in 1990, Eric or Lyle pays $550,000.
Well, really took three
Right.
lives if you're going to get technical.
True. Very true. But that's what I'm like, damn, like, okay, I just had to add the Murdoch stuff. So sorry, y'all, I forgot to do the community post, but I know y'all all saw it. Tell you one thing, Murdoch's about to get his, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because we never said anything.
I
think so. The one that came out on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it, but I just don't love things that aren't like, if it's not like, what's that one I told you to watch that I watched the other night that I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking good. Into the Fire. The one about the
Oh yeah. Hold on, I gotta give Wheel a hell yeah. Hell yes. It is good to talk about true crime again. And I'll be honest with you, the other night, you guys. So I just told you how I haven't been into true crime at all. I've been doing a bunch of crafts and trying to sell them. But one of the things that I just totally lost my train of thought when I looked down at the mess I have on my floor with all the crafts. Where was I going with that? Oh, I know where I was going with that. I was listening to Criminality, and it had been a hot minute because I'm not gonna lie, I leaned into that drama side. I did. We took the summer off, and I'm not sorry. I'm so glad we did. It trashed our channel. We're gonna lose monetization. All the things where it is what it is, and I'm really could care less. The only reason I care is because I want to provide Christmas for Rachel Morin's kids. That's where I'm stuck. But other than that, I don't give a shit if we lose monetization. We've never made it.
I don't know when the last time is that we got a payment. Like, what are we? But that's when I'm like, okay, then screw it. If we lose it, anything, if someone makes a suit like a PayPal or whatever the hell people do, please be very specific as to what your thing is for, so we can note it and we go from there, and that's where your funds go. That's it.
Well, I'm not worried about that right now. What I was going to say is I was leaning into the drama, and I shouldn't have. It was my own damn fault. And I watched a lot of creator on creator bullshit. And now I'm bored with it, and it's annoying me. It's annoying the crap out of me, to be honest with you. I can't fucking stand it. But I listened to Teresa at Criminality the other night. Oh my God. And the way she talked about the Delphi case, first of all, she is the go-to for Delphi. But the way she talked about it got me excited about true crime again. And I didn't really want to do this live tonight because I didn't feel prepared. And obviously I'm not prepared. There's so much that I have to look over and remember and go through again. But I'm really glad I did it. And I'm really glad that people pushed back. And I'm really glad that we don't run an echo chamber. I'm not going to lie. I'm really glad we don't run an echo chamber because it got me to thinking, and it's challenging me to go back and reread things and look at things. And anyone that can do things to make me go back to true crime, I appreciate very much, very much. So even you, Risk, I appreciate because I appreciate having a difference of opinion to go, well, because I said so isn't a good answer. So I really honestly appreciate the difference of opinion in here and making me go back and challenge myself on what I really think with the information that I have. So I want to say a special thank you to Wolfie and Risk for kind of pushing back a little bit and asking some of the hard questions. And I appreciate LFT not agreeing with everything I say because that sucks. Just there's no conversation. You know, I don't want an echo chamber in here. I want people to disagree and be able to feel comfortable. I want people to go up and feel comfortable speaking their mind in here and saying that they feel comfortable in this atmosphere doing so. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. What's tonight? Thursday? I think it would be good to do Monday night. Hey, Kelly. Kelly. Differences of opinion makes us all think. I really appreciate it. I know. Absolutely, Chico.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, I agree with you. It would be weird if even the two of us just agreed on everything, simultaneously and without question. But
I don't like that.
Decipher's two of us, and
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to have the same opinions on things, but we make this work as a team, and things that, are for our channel and what we do, it's not one-sided. And I'd walk if it was. I will walk if it is. Like, I would be like, I'm out. But we're not like that.
No, but I think that's, Wolfie, that's interesting. I think I need to go back and watch the trials again. I think I need to start from the get-go and go and return to my roots and say, where am I? What do I really believe in? And what am I doing?
Oh my God, Chico should watch it with us. When we watched, and we were watching Ozeal on Stand. Could you see her up there?
We can
commentary?
We can do commentary on some of those stuff, some of the trial stuff too. I don't have a problem with that.
That's when some of that shit.
Some of that shit was funny. Some of that trial shit's funny.
Imagine like Chico being like, or like certain people, or like if anyone wanted to join, be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, there were some Ozeal points where I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is your problem? I definitely had some Ozeal moments, which is why I need to go get the Ozeal glasses so I can wear them and play.
Actually, remember the ones I got actually I can't wear them because they'll mess my eyes up because they're not my same script, but they might actually work for you or help.
Oh, is that a blind joke? Oh, okay.
No, I said work or help. Like, watch them be like, wait, these Ozeal
I'm waiting for my 3rd set of new glasses in the last 2 months. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I know. I know, the doctor's mistress. Oh, all those good people that were at that trial.
Judalon Smith.
Judalon Smith.
Her into the house with them.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, you guys. Well, thanks to you for putting up with us and listening to us trouble on about this stuff. Thanks for joining the conversation and speaking your minds. I appreciate that very, very much. And I think we're going to try Monday night to maybe go live again. The idiots used to use birdshot. I know. They used birdshot instead of buckshot. We had that whole conversation too that led into like birdshot, buckshot, Murdoch, all that stuff too. So I remember all that. I just have to go back and I just put drops in my eye. Sorry. Ouch. No, they didn't know shit. They didn't know shit about guns. They didn't know shit about Shinola. Right? Let's be real. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you would do me a huge favor and do LFT a huge favor and hit the like button, I'd really, really appreciate it. And also, please go to your favorite creator, whoever that may be to you, and leave a bunch of likes and nice comments on their videos to get up their engagement as well. I'd really appreciate that. Whether we like them or not, doesn't matter. It's your liking and who you like. So go to your favorite creator, like a bunch of their videos, leave some nice comments, tell them we said hi. Unless it's Brittany J, because then I've already done that tonight. Don't do that. She's not real happy. avoid that one, but everyone else go to. And tell them
Well,
we said hi.
it's probably on our true crime channel now, so it probably has nothing to do with drama.
Okay. Also, let me also say this. I wasn't trashing Granny when I've said that she brought up, she, again, had her views and I had mine. And I want to make that very clear because I don't think I got to. You were there. You were not there, Will. Did you see that? I wasn't trashing Granny. She just said we had a difference of opinion. She was very black and white on it, and like I said, I'm a gray girl. I appreciate black and white. That gets me to gray. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for putting up with my scatterbrained self, LST's clear-headedness. Appreciate that very much.
I don't think that's quite accurate, but thanks for putting up with us, and we appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Have a good night, and please take care, and we will see you Monday. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Just firing as I went into the room. I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
My parents.